What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com.
Here are my DFS picks for NFL Week 4. Millionaire Maker.
These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button
And hit that bell icon
so you don't miss our new videos.
Okay guys, this is for the Millionaire Maker slate, which is the Sunday main slate at 1 p.m. Oh, and stick around to the very end of this video. After I show you all my picks in the Draft Dashboard tools, I'll show you these players in DraftKings and in FanDuel, the Millionaire Maker slates. There'll be 2 spots open that you have to fill in, but you'll have a great Millionaire Maker core. Okay guys, NFL Week 4. Let's take a look at the quarterback position. So I've got low salary Millionaire Maker picks for you guys at every position. So you're going to have a ton of salary to stack in those studs into your lineup. So let's get into it. At the quarterback position, my Millionaire Maker quarterback for NFL Week 4 is Matt Ryan from the Atlanta Falcons, playing the Washington football team, who have the absolute worst defense overall, and they've been giving up the absolute most fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks. Matt Ryan, he's averaged 15.4 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 1.7 rush attempts per game. Now, if you throw out his Week 1 performance, he scored 17 and 22 fantasy points the last 2 weeks, and he's projected at 17.1 fantasy points here in Week 4, but I think he can score 20 plus fantasy points in this matchup, and he's only 5,400 DraftKings salary and 1,300 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 48 points scored in this game, with the Falcons trailing by 1.5. So you got a close, competitive game and a fantastic matchup. So I think you can get 20 plus fantasy points out of this pick and save a ton of salary at the quarterback position. So I like Matt Ryan here versus the Washington football team.
Before I continue with the picks, I'm excited today because we added a new contest for everyone watching.
If you want to enter the drawing for $25 PayPal,
all you need to do is like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make a quick comment below to be entered into the drawing. We'll reply to a random comment and let you know that you won.
And we'll send you $25 PayPal.
So it's that easy, and we pick a new winner every Saturday and announce them in our video. So get your comment in now so I can add another entry for you.
Okay, let's take a look at the running back position. My Millionaire Maker running back for NFL Week 4 is David Montgomery from the Chicago Bears, playing the Detroit Lions, who have the 4th worst defense overall, and they give up the 3rd most fantasy points to opposing running backs. David Montgomery has averaged 13.4 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 15.5 rush attempts per game and 3 pass targets per game. He's been on the field for 73% of the snaps. He's projected at 15.7 fantasy points here in Week 4, and he's only 5,800 DraftKings salary, and he's 1,700 more on FanDuel. So I love that DraftKings price, and Vegas thinks there's going to be 42 points scored in this game, with the Chicago Bears favored by 3. So you got a fantastic matchup. This game could be a running game script. You could see 20 plus touches from David Montgomery at a super low salary. I don't think his ownership's going to be very high either, because he's coming off of a bad performance last week, only scoring 8 fantasy points. But remember, he scored 22 fantasy points in Week 1, and I think he can get 20 fantasy points or more in this one. So I like David Montgomery here versus the Detroit Lions. Real quick guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all the tools for NFL. NBA is right around the corner. This is a great time to get in and try everything for 1 month. The tools are all about saving research time. You can see the last 3 games, the fantasy points per game, the targets they got per game, so you can see how involved they are in the offense, the rushes they got per game. Seeing all this stuff on one screen helps you save time and make better picks. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups. Okay, let's take a look at the wide receiver position. My Millionaire Maker wide receiver for NFL Week 4 is Odell Beckham Jr. from the Cleveland Browns playing the Minnesota Vikings, who have the third worst defense overall, and they give up the second most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. Odell Beckham Jr. scored 14 fantasy points last week off of 9 pass targets and 1 rush attempt. He was on the field for 78% of the snaps. He's only $5,800 DraftKings salary and $800 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 52 points scored in this game, with the Browns favored by 2. So you got a high-scoring game, a close, competitive game, and a great matchup. And Odell Beckham Jr. got 10 touches last week. I expect him to get about the same here this week. And I think he can score 15 fantasy points or more in this one. So I like Odell Beckham Jr. here versus the Minnesota Vikings. Okay, moving on to the tight end position. My Millionaire Maker tight end for NFL Week 4 is Logan Thomas from the Washington football team playing the Atlanta Falcons, who have the 7th worst defense overall, and they give up the 5th most fantasy points to opposing tight ends. Logan Thomas has averaged 11.6 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 4.7 pass targets per game. Now, I like this pick because Logan Thomas has been on the field for 100% of the snaps, and he's projected at 12.4 fantasy points here in Week 4. He's $4,900 DraftKings salary and $900 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 48 points scored in this game, with the Washington football team favored by 1.5. So you got a great matchup, and this guy's been consistent every single week on the field for 100% of the snaps. Can't get much better than that. Tons of opportunity, and his salary is still pretty low. So I like Logan Thomas here versus the Atlanta Falcons.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video, or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video.
You've unlocked the bonus content. Okay guys, here we are in the DraftKings lineup optimizer. Over on Draft Dashboard, we have our Millionaire Maker core locked in here, and we've generated a lineup. So let's see who we got. We got Matt Ryan, Melvin Gordon, David Montgomery, Odell Beckham Jr., Davante Adams, Calvin Ridley, Logan Thomas, Zach Moss, and the Seahawks defense. So I just absolutely love this lineup right here. Definitely going to play this lineup, but I'm going to save this lineup so I can optimize it later in case anything changes. So just looking at this lineup real quick, I like that we're stacking Calvin Ridley with Matt Ryan. Then we're running it back with Logan Thomas. And for our running backs, we've got all like mid-range running backs here, but these guys got some big upside. Melvin Gordon, David Montgomery, and Zach Moss, and the Seahawks defense versus the 49ers. So I really love this lineup. And you can see you got a lot of flexibility here with these 4 Millionaire Maker picks. We were able to get Davante Adams in here. And if we came down off of Davante Adams, like went with a Brandon Cooks, then we could upgrade a guy like Zach Moss or Melvin Gordon if you wanted to go with a Nick Chubb. So there's another way you could go. So I'm going to save this lineup so I can optimize it later. Okay, now here we are in the FanDuel lineup optimizer. We have our Millionaire Maker core locked in here, and we've generated a lineup. So let's see who we got.
We got Matt Ryan, Melvin Gordon again, David Montgomery, Adam Thielen, Calvin Ridley, Odell Beckham Jr., Logan Thomas, Cooper Kupp, and the 49ers defense. So I love this lineup. Adam Thielen's been ripping it up. And of course, Cooper Kupp, this guy's been unstoppable. But now let's see, if we wanted to come down off Cooper Kupp, because we think, okay, maybe he's going to have a bad week finally, and go with like a guy like DK Metcalf, that allows us to upgrade our defense. So now we could go with a defense like the Arizona Cardinals, and then we've still got 700 salary. Let's see if we want to upgrade a guy like Melvin Gordon and go with Saquon Barkley. So that's a pretty solid lineup right here. Let me just read this one out. I'm going to save this one. I like this one a little bit better. We got Matt Ryan, Saquon Barkley, David Montgomery, Adam Thielen, Calvin Ridley, Odell Beckham Jr., Logan Thomas, DK Metcalf, and the Cardinals defense. Lots of firepower in this lineup. Love this lineup. So thanks so much, guys, and good luck here in week 4.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smickety smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NFL slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.